Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I have got a world-class mess happening here. It is fantastic and lovable having this much junk out at one time. I've worked over 100, well over 100 materials into this piece. I'm only showing you a snippet of. I've been working on this for a good long time and really loving it. This for me is functioning as a sampler piece. This is a piece I'm putting into this upcoming issue of Magpie Times, and it is a bunch of fairy villages that I'm working piece by piece. It almost looks like a Hilma af Klint, like a abstract. I have no concern in this piece for contrast and all of the sort of compositional things that I talk about in class. This is just for fun. I'm putting colors with colors, textures with textures. I'm really loving it. I'm working on a fairy doorway over here. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer in as I show you this material. This is one of my all-time faves that I'm working with. This is mohair. This is a fiber that we tend as rug hookers to not go for because look at it. Look at it. Is it going to be offensive and difficult? Well, it's not. Remarkably, it's not at all. I'm going to use it this way. Pull you up here a little bit. I take off a bunch of it at once because it's very, very fine. I have to say I hook with mohair a lot. And I decide either I'm going to make it into two-ply. Two-ply would look like this. I'd hook with it like this. Right, and that's substantial and that's quite nice. Let's do a little bit of hooking with two-ply. You can see I started working on this part here. I'll come a little bit closer for you. And it comes out lumpy bumpy, multicolor, lots of color changes. It's very, very easy and smooth to work with. It doesn't give you a lot of play in terms of pulling it up. I know my hand is in the way, but just for a second, we'll look at what the two-ply looks like. I'm going to get a different angle for you. Hang on. Okay, let's try this. Here we go. So here I am here. Now, I showed you what two-ply looked like, and it did this little area here, which is great. I just folded one more time to make four-ply, right? It's really not that much. It is going to make a larger loop, right? So for really fine areas, I don't want to hook with this kind of weight or this much. But I'm filling in the mushroom. I hardly ever say that. But as I fill in the mushroom, it's nice, and I don't really do tails up. I kind of curve the tails under, hook them under. I make sure that they're fastened tightly under so they don't come up later on the combs, but I don't tend to put the tails on the top. I like these big fat lofty loops, and you can see it goes real fast, really well, and every time I pull up a loop, it's a nice fat colorful loop, and the color change, and that depends on which skein you choose. The color change is wonderful with mohair. It's so romantic and soft, right? The colors are so good. You know what your colors are going to be when you look at your skein. But somehow rug hooking, I mean, I've also like knitted and crocheted with mohair in the past. I really love rug hooking with mohair because it's easy. It's easy on the hands. It has a beautiful glowing, very sort of luminescent effect. Comes up big and lofty. But most of all, each loop for me is like a universe of pretty color, and it's fun to look at. This is fun to look at, the skein all on its own, right? But for me, when I'm looking at each individual loop, it's very exciting. I just love using it. And mohair is something that you see a lot. I'm going to pan out a little bit. You often see it at thrift stores, Savers, Goodwill, whatever. And we tend to pass it by as a fiber because it doesn't seem like a good call. But, this video is about telling you it really is a good call to use it. It's very, very easy to use, and it fills in fast. You saw how quickly the mushroom was coming together. Let's do one more little sequence together. I've got it into fours again, right? I have a four-ply strand folded up in my hand, and I'm pulling up that first loop. And again, I'm not putting the tails up, not that I think it'd be the end of the world. And then when I pull up the second loop, I can feel the tails under there still. So I just carry them with me to the second loop so that there's no chance that I'm going to pull it out underneath or that the combs are going to grab it underneath. But yeah, it is a lot of fun, and it's very, very fast. of all the fibers that I'm using in this piece. Lots of straight up wool, mostly 5-cut, because I'm lazy and I didn't change the blade on the thing and on the Bliss, and I can't be bothered to get out the Sizzix. Now this is going to be a problem here. You see how I worked myself in the corner? I feel I'm going to have to trim that there because I'm going to want those bright pink polka dots in play. And if I cover up too much of that polka dot spot on the mushroom, that's going to be a problem. So most of this is cut to, and you'll see this in Magpie Times when it comes out on June 17th. It is available for pre-order right now. You'll see this is one of the free patterns in there. I'm doing it quite large. Like this is a rug size. This is a floor rug size, but I'm going to mount it on the wall. And it is made up of well over 100 different yarns that I have and things that I have gathered and hoarded over the years. It is so much fun to look at because everything from the wool, right, which ironically was for me the hardest part to hook, lots of directional hooking and color changing in there. These fancy fibers, when you can use them, are so worth considering because they are, as I get stuck, right, on my monk's cloth, they are so much easier to hook with in my mind. So mohair, a lot of the eyelash yarns I've got going. Let me pan up just a little bit. Chenille, right? That's almost like a velvet. These kinds of what's called flag yarn that have little bits sticking up off them. This is straight up wool, right? So lots of different materials, but boucle style wool. And then the pearly multicolored yarns. So many different materials. You'll get a real close-up of this when Magpie Times comes out. Deadline May 17th, coming out June 17th. I'm going to keep going on my mushroom, and I will see you later. See you next time at Ribbon Candy Hooking.